Welcome to the Mighty Emotions Podcast. I'm your host, Giselle. I'm a certified emotions coach, and I teach you how to respond better to your emotions so you can feel better in your life. My mission is to show you how to work with your emotions to become more emotionally resilient. Your emotions are not designed to overpower you, they're designed to empower you. On this podcast, I share what our emotions are, how to understand them and work with them, and the tools you need to reclaim your power and get unstuck from emotional pain so you can find fulfillment in your life again. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, Mighty Emotions community. Welcome back to another episode. I am happy to be back recording. I have been off for a few weeks, but proud of myself for pre-recording before I went on vacation so that there would be episodes every week. I'm really dedicating myself to bringing you guys a new episode every Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. And today's episode, I want to share with you what vacation taught me because it was my first vacation in 3 years, maybe more than 3 years. And it was incredible. I mean, I have no words. It was outstanding, fantastic. It was just everything that I needed. And I came back with such a renewed spirit. I came back with such a fire lit under my butt to make some changes in my real life because, I mean, we'll talk about that later in the episode, but that's really, what I was hoping to get out of the vacation. So, for those of you who don't know, I went on vacation with my family to France to visit family and celebrate our friend's marriage. And it was my daughter's first time meeting both her grandparents and cousin and aunts and uncles. And it was such a beautiful trip. My husband and I, since becoming parents, have had no real time between the two of us. And so getting to have some alone time with my partner was huge. Getting to be in nature. I did not go to any major city. We spent the entire time in small towns, countryside of France, which is my absolute favorite. The English and the French countryside are just my favorite places. And so we enjoyed our time there so much. And I just came back and started making all these changes. I felt so renewed, like I was ready to take action in all these ways. We moved into a new place a year ago, and I still hadn't really finalized things here. And now coming back from the vacation, I was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. We're cleaning out this. It's also like a transition between like spring to summer and all of that. So all this action energy is going on, and maybe it's astrological too, but I just felt so much renewed energy. And that's usually why we like vacation, right? Because we get to relax, hopefully. We get to experience ourselves differently just from being in a different environment and doing different things outside of our routines. And we're able to kind of reset. That's typically what we look forward to in the vacation. But what this vacation taught me more so than that, like I'm grateful for that. But what I really got from this vacation was this realization of how good life can be and how good life can feel, right? Specifically. And towards the end of the vacation, I didn't have any of this kind of, oh, I wish it was longer. Or like, I felt like I had sucked every drop of the experience of it out of that vacation. Like, I felt like by the end of the vacation, I wasn't exhausted and ready to go home. None of that. I felt so present. I felt so grounded. I felt so just nourished and satisfied that I was like, this has been amazing and life is amazing. And even going back home is going to be amazing because now I know what I want my daily life to feel like. And obviously our daily life that comes with, responsibilities and all of this is not going to feel the same as vacation. I mean, I wish I could say that it would, but the reality is that like all of my needs, I had freedom, I had safety, I had connection, and most importantly, I had meaning. And I think that meaning was something that I didn't even realize wasn't really fulfilled in my everyday life. And what I mean by that is that, I was kind of going through the motions in many ways and not realizing that I wasn't living with intention. Like, I just wasn't living with intention. And now, going on this vacation, I had very clear intentions for how I wanted things to feel, and it allowed me to be present in those moments, right? Like, I was looking forward to seeing our family. So when I was with our family, I was with them. And I was looking forward to spending time in the forest because my in-laws live at the edge of a magical forest. And if you follow me, if you're familiar with my work, that the forest is like my place, specifically like Celtic forests. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about that one day, but it's so special to me. Like, the oak tree is the reason that I kind of came up with the name Mighty Emotions and this whole brand. So it was just a place that's already so special to me. And my intention was to just spend time there and absorb, the clarity that comes when I really spend extended times just walking in the forest. And there were so many moments there where I would get lost in the forest because it's massive, and there are paths, but sometimes you think it's a path and it's not really a path. And I would feel the fear of that moment come up, and I would realize, like, oh, this is a moment to walk with this fear and to trust and to lean into my faith and to really make a decision and think about, okay, what's important to me? Do I want to just wander? Do I want to get home quickly? Like, how am I going to navigate this? And I would always make it out safely, thankfully. But, it was things like that where I was just so present to the lessons that I was gaining and the emotions I was having and the feelings I was experiencing, that it was just, I really absorbed those experiences fully, like fully lived them. And I realized that I wasn't doing that in my daily life because I didn't have any intention. We go from work to home, or I work from home a lot of the time. So I'm at home and I'm going to, daycare, pick up, drop off, grocery shopping, blah, blah, blah. Like the nitty gritty, the basic elements of our lives. And we can lose that sense of intention. We can lose that sense of magic that I felt on vacation. And there's no reason why I can't recreate some of that magic in my daily life. So, for example, waking up and feeding myself, right? It's something that is so easy for me to not do. It's so easy for me to just forget to have breakfast because I'm waking up and I'm taking care of my daughter and I'm doing all these things. I'm going. And then I drop her off. I come back and I'm like, okay, now I'll relax. And instead, it's this kind of like, wake up, go grab a yogurt, take some time to eat it. Like, or wake up and go outside, open the door, get some fresh air while you have your coffee. Like, these are tiny moments that can be so magical when we are intentional, right? When we're like, okay, I want my mornings to feel like this. I want my weekends to feel like this. I want my evenings, like after work, my wind down routine. I want my evenings to feel like this, and to give ourselves that space and to go into our life with more purpose, right, behind it. And I felt so relaxed. I was laughing. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, is it possible to be too relaxed? I was so relaxed. I was so cared for. I was so held. I was so supported. And this isn't to say that certain things didn't go wrong. I mean, I'm not going to get into the details about it, but it wasn't perfect. But I can't look back on it and even think about that because the overall feeling of gratitude that I had was just so powerful. And I can say honestly that every intention that I set for that trip, it was, I lived it. I had that experience that I was seeking. So bringing that into my everyday life is really like the space. How do I want my space to feel? Like, we've done a lot of cleaning, like I said, but I've also, like, put up some decor, hung some painting and art that I haven't hung for a year. Like, just these little things, tidied it up. I want the space to feel organized and clean and not like too structured or anything like that, but I wanted to feel lived in. Like, my mother-in-law's house, my in-laws' house feels so lived in. Like, the energy there, there's so many photos of us everywhere and family members and little trinkets that have been collected that are on display throughout the house, and it just feels warm because of that. And I want where we live now, even though we've only been here for a year, I want everywhere we live to feel like that. I want everywhere we live to feel lived in and warm and comforting. And adding those little touches and those little elements is a simple thing that I could do to give us that feeling, right? I want to spend more time going for walks in nature. I'm so blessed to live near to green space and to have these foresty areas where I can go for walks, and to do that more. I wasn't doing that as much in my daily life because of, obviously my schedule and logistics and all of that. But I can fit it in, and I'm going to fit it in when it's not blisteringly hot. But those are things that I'm going to be more intentional about doing in my everyday life. And more so than that, that feeling that I was able to have, feeling so relaxed, almost too relaxed, feeling so grounded, feeling so anchored in, what's important and what matters. That's what intention is really about. It's about zoning in on like, what is the thing that matters, so that we can focus on that thing, right? Even if things go kind of sideways or skewed or whatever, we're clear about what matters. We're clear about what's important to us. We're clear about what we value, and that anchors us. So in my daily life, knowing that like nourishing my body, knowing that like playing with my daughter, knowing that like maintaining my home and my space is what matters to me at this point. And it's going to change, right? It always changes. But having that intention is what allows me to feel really, really good on a daily basis. I was out with my husband this morning. It was beautiful because we actually got the day together while our daughter's in daycare. And at some point, I had this thought like, I wake up happy. I wake up happy. I wake up at peace every day, right? Like, that is such a foreign experience. If you know my story, and if you don't, you head to my Instagram at mighty_emotions, and it's the first little square. If you know where I come from and what I lived through, I did not have that for the longest time, for most of my life. And today, to know that I wake up and I'm happy, and I know that the formula to that is what I've been talking about on this episode, which is having that sense of meaning, that need for meaning met by being clear on my values, being clear on what's important to me, and just focusing on that more, prioritizing that more. I think we can be so scattered, and we can be so all over the place in our life, and we can be putting our energy in all these places because we think we have to, but we're not even doing it because it matters to us, or it's because what we value, and we're neglecting the areas that really matter to us. And then we're feeling this misalignment with all these quote unquote negative emotions showing up, and we're like, why do I feel this way? And it's like, there is a formula, is what vacation taught me. The formula is having my needs met, having safety, having freedom, having connection, and having that meaning, having a set intention for not just my day or my week. I know we talk about that. What does that even mean? Like, what does it mean to set an intention for your day or set an intention for your week? And what it means is, what is important to you today, right? If what is important to you today is, maybe you've been working really hard, and so today it's important that you rest as much as possible. You'll be amazed at how rested you feel when you're focused on getting as much rest as possible. And you might be saying to me, well, I have a job and I have kids and I have da 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 da. Okay, but I can tell you firsthand from experience that that doesn't have to impact how you feel, right? That if you're really intending to feel rested or to have rest, then the decisions you make are going to align with that, and you're going to experience that. You're going to be able to adapt your circumstances to get that need met because you have that clear intention, because your purpose is clear, because you understand what you're needing and what's going to fulfill you and restore you, right? Another example for your week, maybe this week, what's really important to you is completing a project or starting a project or making progress on a project that you've kind of forgotten about. Like for me, it was my space, my home, and like adding these final like decor touches, getting it organized. And I can't express how good it feels to be in this space now, to work in this space, I just sit here. I just sit here and I feel so serene. I feel so serene. And guess what? That's going to make me more productive. It's going to make me more inspired and creative. Like there's just so many additional benefits to that. And I had that intention. Like that was my intention for the week. So even as other things would happen and I would have to do these other things, at the end of the week, I could feel really settled and really satisfied because I'm sitting in this beautiful space that I've created, and it fills me and it fulfills me, and that is the formula to waking up every day and feeling good in your life. Right? There's always little, like I want to change the bedding in here, and I want to finesse little things, but it's just about intention, right? It's about intention, because where our energy goes, or where our attention goes, energy flows, as you may have heard. And putting our energy into the things that give back to us is always a better use of our energy, right? Than just pouring into these other things that we're not really receiving from. So think about that for this week. Your homework for this week, listener, is to think about what matters to you right now. What's important to you? What do you want to give more of your energy to and focus on more, because you know that it's going to restore you in some way? And just ignore other stuff that come up that isn't aligned with that isn't contributing to that. Just try it for a week. Right? I don't mean neglect your responsibilities. Let me be clear. You got to take care of your responsibilities, but there are always these little time waster things that we do, or that we focus on when we're not focused, when we don't have intention, and then we feel depleted and we feel drained, et cetera, right? So whatever that thing is, and it's different for everyone, replace that by picking something that is important to you and putting your energy there. And more so than anything, make it a feeling that you want to experience. Like, I don't mean like, oh, my intention for this week is to work out every day. Like, okay, that's a thing, but more so like maybe your intention for the week is to move your body more. Maybe your intention for the week is to be more active, right? And so when you make that your focus, that your intention, there's so many different ways that you can achieve that, and see how you feel at the end of the week, right? Maybe you're thinking, "Oh, well, my intention is to eat really healthy every day." It's like, "Okay, but like I invite you to think like what is that healthy eating? What is the feeling that you think that's giving you?" Well, maybe you just want to enjoy your meals more. Maybe you want to eat more mindfully and be more present. Maybe you want to eat more nutrient rich foods. Like, so you're going to be selecting that. You want to feel like, I don't know, healthy when you eat. You want to feel like fresh. You want to feel that like, you had a lot of water, you had a lot of vegetables. Like it feels different eating that than eating processed stuff, right? So thinking about, I don't want to eat as much processed stuff this week because I want to eat food that makes me feel at like the best health, that feels really nourishing, that feels really restorative. Like that is the intention. And then just see how you feel at the end of the week and follow where that intention leads you, right? When you go to the grocery store, remember that intention and be drawn towards the foods that are going to do that for you. Or when thinking about being active, like going for a walk and feeling really present on that walk, or going to a gym if that's your thing, or going to a class, whatever it is, just see where the intention leads you. But set the intention. Set the intention for your life, set the intention for your week, set the intention for your day. What is the thing that's important to you at this present moment? What's the thing you value? Where do you want your energy to go? And see the beauty that happens, right? Because we don't have to just do that on vacation. We can do that in our everyday lives. And when we do, we can wake up each day from this place of just feeling fulfilled, feeling satisfied, satiated, grateful, joyous, happy. All of these emotions that I chased for so long and I could never access the authentic emotion. Now I understand the formula. The formula is having our needs met, and especially having that meaning in our life being met, being in alignment with that in our purpose, being in alignment with our values, honoring them in the way that we live our lives, that is going to give you so much. So I hope that this is encouraging to you. I hope that you take this action this week and you see what happens, and let me know. Reach out to me on Instagram, reach out to me in the community if you're in the community. And if you're not in the community, it will be opening up soon. I'm waiting for my book to be launched. I'm doing a lot of work right now on that, finalizing that, getting that ready to be out into the world. And then I'm really working to make the community a place for you to get ongoing coaching, emotions coaching, ongoing emotional support, just a place that you know you're tapped into and you are keeping your emotional well-being at the forefront, because how you feel determines the quality of your life, right? So with that, I love you for listening to this episode. I can't wait for you guys to see what's Mighty Emotions is becoming. I'm really grateful that you're in this community. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Share this episode if it brought you any value, and just have a beautiful, beautiful week. Good luck setting your intentions, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It would mean so much if you could subscribe, leave a review, share with your friends and family, and let me know what you think by going to my Instagram at mighty_emotions and connecting with me and letting me know what you loved about today's episode. It really means a lot that you support this podcast, and I love coming to you each week with a new episode. So be sure to subscribe, let me know what you think, and take care of yourself.